All right. Well, hello and welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. We're really excited to dive into the special edition of IT Hour, and this is one of my favorite things to do. So I appreciate you hopping in and hanging out with us. My name is Chase, I'm Principal Strategist and Director of PMM here at JumpCloud, and so I'm super excited to kind of talk through a bunch of different elements and some other pieces that we have lined up for you today, talk about Windows ARM and server support and all those other good things. And so we'll be doing a quick kind of deep dive and going through some of those, but very important news, especially for those of us in the US. Today is July 11th. It is 7-Eleven a day. So don't forget to go out and grab your free Slurpee. Hang out. You deserve it. You've been working hard and appreciate you coming and hanging out on a Friday with us. And so with that, here's a quick look of kind of what we're going to be looking at. We're covering Windows ARM support, 2025 server, some MDM policy enhancements, a little bit more around the rollback. We'll do a quick demo, and then two, we'll have some questions, kind of anything else that you want to cover at that. But that is the fun. That is what we're going to be diving into today. So I'm super excited about that. And so with that, that kind of does it for me. I had more fun to share, but we're going to bring in the experts here. We're going to bring in Ari and Amit, and we're going to be walking through all those other things. So why don't you kick it off, gentlemen?
Awesome. Thanks, Chase. Hi, everybody. Morning, evening. I'm Hari, product manager at JumpCloud. I take care of Windows side of things. So, notably, you can call me a Windows guy, but I hate Microsoft. But nevertheless, I'm gonna give you some exciting news what we are doing at JumpCloud side of things. And let me just share my screen and walk you all through what we are doing at JumpCloud. There you go. So let me put this in presentation mode. Awesome. We know what's the agenda for today, so I'm gonna quickly skip it. And yes, today I have Amit on this call, who is my partner in crime, who's gonna do the demo. I just hope the demo gods help us today and does not break any functionality what we are building at JumpCloud. So I just pray the demo goes well. That being said, yes, JumpCloud extends support for Windows ARM devices and Server 2025. Much needed, much needed, much needed, much embraced across the globe because of its latest, greatest, and added advantages. But let's take one step at a time. And yes, let's talk about what's ARM-based device and what's happening around it across the globe. Now we all know what technology AI is doing across the globe, and all the revolution we are going through as a part of it. Technology continuously evolves, and ARM-based CPUs have gained significant popularity in the enterprise space. We all know that, but why? Because due to their performance and power efficiency, and that's where every organization is going gung ho behind ARM-based CPU based devices. Now there's an interesting report coming up from Counterpoint Research. They say that by end of 2026, it's expected that 25% of enterprise endpoints across the globe will be running on ARM based CPUs. That's the report coming from Counterpoint Research organization, and we know we can trust them because when they say that this is what it is what it is. Now that being said, what's happening around this space is that major personal computer vendors, like we all know Dell, HP, Lenovo, other leading providers, they're all working pretty closely with Microsoft, and they're aggressively promoting this marketplace. And they're not just planning to deliver both hardware and software, but they're trying to bring in the overall ecosystem in such a way that any organization could easily embrace this new latest greatest ARM based CPUs, just to make sure that their apps, software, and the peripheral side of things just work fine, because they come with added advantage more from power efficiency and performance perspective. Now Microsoft is piggybacking on this, and they're crucially enhancing every bit of functionality that's there on ARM based CPU devices. Now they're not just making sure that the applications, native applications, to run seamlessly on ARM based devices, but they have also brought in this robust emulation tool called as Prism, which is kind of like acting as a mediator between x86 x64 applications, and software to run compatibly well on ARM-based CPUs, and we are embracing that emulator tool and making things work. So that's what Microsoft is trying to do, and bet heavily on this emulation tool and overall ARM CPU. Now, what JumpCloud is doing right in this place, JumpCloud is working with leading OEM providers like Lenovo, HP, Dell, Qualcomm, and making sure that, like, yes, we're going to provide solution in this space as well, not just the legacy Windows endpoints, but yes, we're going to get into this modern endpoint and all, and give solution to our customers, and that's where we are getting into this space. Now, with this tight partnership with OEMs, what we are doing is that we know that JumpCloud already provides support for Mac ARM-based CPUs. Now, I can proudly say that we are introducing solution for Windows ARM-based devices, providing comprehensive support for overall tailor-made ARM-based CPUs. Now, what you all will get with this is that, yes, full potential to manage the entire legacy and modern endpoints in our single pane of glass without compromising security. What it means is that every bit of policies, every bit of functionality what we provide, be it SaaS management, be it policies, conditional policies, whatnot, you can count on anything. They work seamlessly on ARM-based devices without any compromise. And yes, we're gonna get competitive advantage because we are getting into this space, and all leading OEM providers, we do support them. So we're going to capitalize market. So that's all the business side of things, but from functionality standpoint, every admin would love now that, yes, GemCloud will support ARM based devices. So that's where we are getting in, and every feature that we support from platform perspective, they work seamlessly on ARM based devices. That's where we are. And a lot of our existing pilot customers have already enrolled their ARM-based devices in our internal and private preview phase, and everything is working seamlessly. So why late? If you have ARM-based devices, get enrolled in JumpCloud and start managing them. Yes. On to the next one. Yes. Now, furthermore, we all know that from modern endpoint perspective, that's all ARM-based side of stories. But from infrastructure side of stories, Server 2025 marks a significant milestone as first long-term servicing channel that Microsoft is heavily relying on. Now, they have released this last year, but it went GA early 2025, and we can proudly say that GemCloud also supports Server 2025 based platforms, like basically server and infrastructure side of things. So if you have servers which are 2025, why late? Get them enrolled into GemCloud, start managing them, and make sure your infrastructure is secure and stable. Now, yes, with this we can say that unified management for Windows infrastructure, and not just that, security posture across the Windows ecosystem. We have enhanced the old capability, making sure that existing functionalities still work. And now ID admin wouldn't have to shuffle between, okay, let me manage this here because JumpCloud does not support, and let me manage these endpoints here. No, there's not that anymore. So you can bring everything into under one umbrella, and start managing them from our JumpCloud solution. So that's where we are uniquely positioned. With that being said, I can again say that we are proud to announce that JumpCloud now supports Windows ARM CPU and Server 2025 based systems in our single pane of glass. That's literally exciting news that we wanted to share with you all today. Awesome. If you have ARM and Server 25 devices already, just get them enrolled and start managing them. Awesome. And wait, but there's more. What we are trying to do is that this is all on the endpoint perspective, but we are doing something more on device management perspective as well. So our continuous efforts in providing granular control to our customers would never die. We're going to continuously invest in this space and provide as many controls as possible, so that every endpoint, be it legacy, modern, or infrastructure side of things, we're gonna just give every bit of controls to the IT admins so that they can push them to the devices and safeguard the devices. But when I say safeguard the devices, it's not just the device. I'm also referring to the device and data together. So that being said, and in coming quarter, we have some interesting things, being added on the policy management side of things. We all know, like, day in day out, admin would log into our console, go to policy management. Although it's one time activity, but the set configurations according to baselines or security baselines or whatever, in order to make sure the devices are compliant enough, the policies are imposed onto the devices, right? So in this space, we are adding, you know key security options to automate the restart, to wipe the profiles automatically, and restrict access to unauthorized extensions on the browser. So within this unique space, we have invested quite a bit in the security side of things. So that's what we are doing, as of now, as of today. And with that being said, in Q3, we're going to focus on optimization and control, where we're going to add set of policies, and up and onwards, we're going to look into the personal side of personalization side of things, and give more enhanced security capabilities. Furthermore, we're going to get into separation of LGPOs and MDM based policies, and start managing server side of things and modern endpoint side of things. So this is our pathway ahead. That being said, if we solely focus on Q3 side of things, I'm gonna present you some of the key policies, which we're working on, and their due release in Q3. So first thing first, I'm going to talk about our automated restart. Yes. So with this policy, what an admin can do is that, as of today, you know, um, every IT admin's wishes to make sure the devices are compliant, be it from you know up to date applications, or be it from the devices running on up to date patch. Now, how it's going to happen? Sometimes the devices users might control the restarts, or the patches updated, but they're still not installed, whatever the reason. So we are introducing schedule restart policy, where an IT admin could configure the policy in such a way that either daily, weekly, or at any given time, the restarts can be configured so that the devices would automatically restart. That not just resolve the performance side of issues, but also make sure that you know the device's health, security, and updates are up to date with a minimal admin effort, where the admin wouldn't have to go into console and keep looking at, okay, the device is restarted or not. So once the policy is configured, the devices would restart it at the scheduled time, and the devices would be running up to date from that. So this is one key policy we're going to add to the existing bucket. The next one is we're going to enhance our existing remote wipe command, where we're going to introduce a new uh, control called as, like, you can wipe user profiles. Meaning, if I have to be a little technical over here, I would say that we will wipe, but we will persist the provision data. Meaning, when you issue wipe command or erase command, the provision data remains as is, meaning whatever configuration, policy configurations, or applications are pushed to the devices, including certificates, they are intact. The provision data is intact, just user profiles are erased. What it means is that when laptops are shared, or new hires, the machines are given, you just have to do a remote wipe with persisted provision data, where the devices, when they come up, the devices are already compliant, the policy configurations, company configurations are already intact. It's just user profiles are gone. With our single sign-on, SSAP, sign in with JumpCloud option, the new user can log into the machine, and start working. So that means that immediately the devices are already ready, and an admin wouldn't have to manage them remotely, or again go through the stringent process of setting up the devices. The devices are ready in minutes, and they don't have to worry that they'll have to go through the whole process of setting up the device. So we are enhancing existing erase command by adding a new option called as erase, but erase only user profiles. So user profile, user data is gone from company device, where the provision data remains intact. So that's another addition enhancement we are bringing onto policy side of things. The next policy, the third policy that we are introducing this time is control storage sense. Now, what it means is that with this policy, any cache clearance or temporary files, data within recycle bin or trash, or data within download folders can be cleared by setting some thresholds, preventing some common issues like my computer is slow, out of storage, or a lot of sluggishness in using. Nothing as such. With the set thresholds, the device would automatically clean up unwanted data, making sure that the device runs seamlessly, just fine. So we're going to have control storage sense policy coming up in next bucket. And last but not least, another policy, edge extension management. So what we are doing is that for the Edge browser, which Microsoft primarily promotes like a default browser, which works fine. Yeah. So we are adding new settings to Edge extension, where as an admin, you would want to allow certain extensions, forcefully install them, or provide a catalog for users to go there and install the extensions as and when needed basis. So we're gonna have this private catalog created for users on the Edge extension space, where users can go and install the extensions, or an admin can force install an extension and make sure the browser is just fine. And it's not just about giving access to extensions from a catalog perspective, but making sure that the devices are safe. The with some random extensions, the data is not leaked, or any malware is installed on the device. So we're going to bring in this standardized browser environment across the Windows fleet, by making the Edge browser strong. Now, yes, there could be other browsers, but how you can restrict users from using other browser is use our application restriction policy, and blacklist or block usage of unwanted or not approved browsers, so that you can make the Edge browser safe and secure for the users to use, not just from data perspective, but from malware perspective as well. So these are the four policies which we are currently working on and slated to release in mid of Q3. I cannot promise a timeline at this point in time because we are still actively working on it, but one thing I can say is that mid Q3 you will have these policies seen within your console. So these are the policies. Now, where does these policies reside? Where are we gonna add these policies? Yes, you all know that pretty recently we have added a filter where you could simply add type called as MDM and see the policy. So that's where these new policies would reflect once we release them in Q3 and start configuring them. So that's where filtering comes into the picture. And yes, this is a quick snapshot of storage sense policy, where you can set thresholds for temporary file cleanup, recycle bin cleanup, download cleanup, and you can also add cadence, like how frequently this cleaning up should happen. Should it happen on weekly basis, daily basis, or monthly basis, or on or every 12th day, every 18th day, or whatever it is. Just making sure. I mean, every admin wouldn't want to have this so frequently, but once in a month, definitely a checkpoint for admins to make sure that unwanted data is not there on the machine. So that's where storage sense policy coming in act and helping IT admins just to make sure devices are working good. Now, talking about extension policy, yes. So external extensions can be blocked, certain type of extensions can be allowed. We're going to show them in our demo in a little bit. um, Allow list, block list of extensions, where I was talking about creating a catalog for our users, where users can go into extensions and install them. Then there's a force install, and then what are the sources from which installations or extension installations can happen. So overall extension management can be played around with these settings. Then automating of restart, so weekly, single restart, weekly, or daily. So it is at a set date and time, so the devices would automatically restart, making sure the device is up to date, not just from applications but from OS perspective as well, overall performance as well. So that's where these policies would come in handy and help every one of you on in having secured endpoints. That being said, Mr. Ahmed is going to give us a quick demo on a couple of policies. But what you can expect in this demo for today, we're going to talk about edge extension management, quickly run down on allow list, block list of extensions, force installation of extensions, how can we disable developer mode, blocking third party extensions, and what type of extensions are allowed. And we're going to quickly demo on um, control storage sense as well, like how can we set thresholds and how can we set cadence, and rest of the things. So with that, I'll hand it over to Amit to give us a quick walkthrough on these two policies.
Sure. So let me share. Okay, let's go through this policy one by one. First, we'll go to Microsoft Age Extension policy. This policy is designed to manage different aspects of age extensions, and we'll start with the most important one, like installing an extension forcibly. So I have some test data. Let's pick up this extension. Before that, just quickly, let's check there are no extension on the device yet. So I will add it here and save this device. Okay, the policy is binded to device, and I will do one manual sync up for this demo purpose to speed up the process. And once this is synced, within few seconds, we should see the extension added here. Yeah, so new extension got added. This is this extension, Cider Chat with all AI models. And close this one and focus on the extension. Yeah, this is the extension. If you notice carefully, a user cannot toggle this, which means this will stay installed on this device until the policy is applied. Now let's go to another setting of the same policy. We will disable the developer mode. So this mode is basically here. If we disable this, we can see some of the details are hidden. And if we enable this, we can see some of the details. So by default, it's allowed. So we'll disable it. And once I save this, and again sync manually for quick results. Yeah, this got again disabled, and we have icon saying managed by your organization. Okay, let's go to the next one, the interesting one, next allowed list. So what we'll do is we'll allow only the Grammarly from the Edge store, and it will basically block rest of the extension. That means we can only install Grammarly, but we won't be able to install any new extension. So let's go to store, me search for Grammarly. We can install this. I'll be able to install this. It will get downloaded and installed. Few more seconds. Okay, there it is. It got installed. We can close this. Let's try some other extension which is not in the list. So for example, I'll try to install this. This clearly says, okay, it allowed me to install that extension. Okay, we'll come back to that. We have few other entries. We can add as many browsers we want here, as many extensions we want here, and those will be allowed. Rest of them will be blocked. Similarly, we have a block list. I'm adding the same Grammarly one. Let's save this. I will sync it up and let's refresh brace and also so this extension is not allowed. As soon as I added Grammarly to the block list, Grammarly was removed and currently I have this two extensions. Okay. Uh, I guess the next few settings are blocking external extension. This is a simple checkbox. Once we select this setting, we can block some of the CRX files that users can install on their system, and usually it might contain some malicious code or malware. So this setting is used for that. Next, we have allowed types. This is the interesting one. We can have extension here. We can add bunch of the things, extension, themes, and user script. These are sort of JavaScript which run into the browser. So only this type of the extensions will be allowed and rest of them will be blocked. We have another option. Using this one, we can save install extension from different sources. We just add some URL, copying a dummy value, and we can add bunch of this URLs to this. We have one more blocking extension install type. This we have only single option as a command line. Now we want to prevent, if our admin wants to prevent any Edge extension which is getting installed from command line, we can use this one. That is mostly about this policy. This policy gives us more control on the Edge browser. There are things which we can block, there are things which we can allow, and most importantly, we can make sure the extensions are force installed and user cannot tamper with it. Okay. The next one will see the next policy. This is more on a optimization side, which Hari talked about, which is a storage sense configuration, and this is the default setting for this policy. Before going to this policy, we can check some of the default settings which Microsoft have by default, and here we go. So if you can observe carefully, the storage sense is turned on by default. I can toggle it, and if I go inside, there are bunch of configuration which I can toggle. Here I can set how frequently I want to run this and bunch of other settings. This at the moment are not managed and user can tamper with it or change with it. So what we'll do, we'll create a policy. So first thing we'll do is we'll set this to true, which means we get complete access over this. This will stay turned on and we can update further settings. The next one is a cadence, the frequency at which we want to clean up this. For demo purpose, I'm selecting daily, but we can select anything. In real world, probably admin wants to clear it every month or weekly or when the device is running low. We can check this as well. Then when we are running storage sense, the most obvious things to remove could be the temporary files. That's why this checkbox is checked by default. Admin can uncheck it, but this is the suggested setting for this field. We have cloud content dehydration threshold. Most of the time, user downloads some of the file which are synced to their cloud, but they are staying on the local device. If they stay on the local device, the storage could increase a lot, and we can just set up a threshold. Let's say I'm setting for 30 days. After 30 days, whenever my device goes to free disk space and my storage sense is activated, this will be created. This will be removed. We have similar threshold for recycle bin. We want to clear some of the files from recycle bin, and similarly we want to remove the files from download folder. So let me set some example as 20. These are the number of days. After this many number of days, this will run and remove these files. This can range from 0 to 365, so at least once in a year this can be run. I will bind this policy to the device. Okay, again for manual purposes, demo purposes, let's quickly sync this so that it gets synced. In real world scenario, it happens quickly, but for this demo, I'm syncing it manually so that we can see more of these things. Okay, now if I go to storage, we can see some of these settings are managed by your organization. This message is popping up. This is selected and grayed out, which means a user cannot toggle it. Then if we come inside, we again see the message. Some of these settings are managed by organization. Everything is selected and grayed out, which means again user cannot toggle it. And these settings which were configurable earlier by users now are configured to what we set in the policy. So whenever the device goes to low free disk space, this storage sense will run and it will clear out bunch of things from temporary files. Now that's about for these two policies. As Hari mentioned, we have a few more coming to restart the device and remote wipe the user data. And if you notice the slide carefully, there are a few more which are coming next quarter, which will help you personalize the personalized desktop wallpaper or set a pin complexity. So stay tuned. I'm handing back to Hari.
Awesome. Thank you, Amit. So that's what it is. So this is what we offer at this point in time. Yes, JumpCloud extends support for ARM-based devices over 2025. We are live. We are GA with that. New policies coming up in Q3, and we have a solid roadmap for next quarter and H1 2026. We are all geared up, and yeah, that's it from presentation area. Over to you, Chase.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much, everyone. I think that does it for today. So thank you for hanging out with us. We had some other questions in the chat, but if you have anything else, obviously, please reach out. We'd love to chat with you in terms of what we're planning next, what we got next in the cooker. The other thing that I did want to mention is we do have our Q3 roadmap webinar coming up in a couple weeks. We're going to be talking about a ton of fun stuff, right? From AI to privileged access management to even more features than you saw here today in terms of how we're thinking about devices. So please come and join us. We got a lot of fun in store and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Thank you for hanging out with us and we'll see you on the next one.
Thank you all. Have a good day.